Hello, this is Ivanyuk. Welcome to my first Destiny 2 guide ever, and first Destiny gameplay ever, and actually first everything ever, because this is just the beginning of my channel. I started this just for fun and to try something new, but hopefully you will get something valuable from it as well. So this video is dedicated to all the people starting their Destiny or considering playing it. And just to explain, I'm not a pro gamer. I have about 200 hours on the record right now, but that definitely doesn't make me pro gamer. There are people who have thousands of hours. I must admit that I still haven't prepared any logical build for my character, and I didn't raid yet, but I dived a little into the lore, mostly with Hive. You can check his channel, my name is Hive. And I played as a free player and paid player since previous season, the season of the Seraph, and everything starts to make some sense. And there is much that I would like to know earlier, because Destiny is quite confusing for new players. Let me show you how the timeline looks like. It is accessible from the Destinations tab, and you can see that there is a brief explanation of the previous events, but as you can guess, the lore is very wide for Destiny, as it was online for almost a decade. Bungie is releasing bigger content once a year, the campaign, and 4 smaller plots each 3 months that are called seasons, and this continues for some time, so the amount of lore added is enormous. So if you want to know what happened exactly, because each of these updates, the seasons and mostly the campaigns, mostly change the way the world of Destiny looks like. They interact, how you can interact with NPCs and what happened actually. The history is still growing, and yeah, if you want to know what happened, you have to do your own research, spend some time listening to people on YouTube who covered that topic. And as I have 1 free slot in my character screen, I decided to play as a warlock, start something new. And this is the great opportunity to make a beginner's guide, as I can comment everything as we go and show you some things when they appear on screen, so that you can have more information than I had when I started, and maybe be less confused by all of this. So when you create your character, you have 3 classes: Titan, Hunter and Warlock. There are many videos about each of them, and I won't advise you to choose anything. You should probably check them all, because their skills and their look and the playstyle is very different, and something may suit you or not. So let's quickly go through the character creation. Something like this, no markings. You only get to choose your head, because the armor changes depending on the gear you're wearing. But fear not, you don't have to wear ugly armor with good stats. There is a possibility to, let's say, give your good armor skin of another armor, so it looks like you want and suits you and your playstyle. In the beginning there is a cinematic which explains what happened before Destiny 1 actually, so let's just watch it.
We called it the Traveler, and its arrival changed us forever. Great cities were built on Mars and Venus. Mercury became a garden world. Human lifespan tripled. It was a time of miracles. We stared out at the galaxy and knew that it was our destiny to walk in the light of other stars. But the Traveler had an enemy. A darkness which had hunted it for eons across the black gulfs of space. Centuries after our golden age began, this darkness found us. And that was the end of everything. But it was also a beginning.
Okay.
Guardian.
Hello,
Guardian?
Ghost.
Eyes up, Guardian. It worked. You're alive. You don't know how long I've been looking for you. I'm a ghost. Actually, now I'm your ghost. And you? Well, you've been dead a long time. So you're going to see a lot of things you won't understand. This is fallen territory. We aren't safe here. I have to get you to the city. Hold still. Don't worry, I'm still with you. You need to move fast.
Not that fast. We have something to cover. Okay, so as you...
This place is an old Cosmodrome, a Russian spaceport. It's quarantined now, and quite dangerous, but our only way forward is through that wall.
Okay, so as you've seen in the cinematic, there was an expedition on Mars who found the Traveler, and the Traveler is a source of light and life, and it terraformed many planets in our solar system, and also was a cause and opportunity for us to rise, grow, and thrive, and it was a boost for our technical advancement or something. But then the darkness came and it destroyed everything, so right now the Earth is ruined, and the only city right now is the tower, the last city. We are heading there right now. Ghost will try to take us there, and this is our main hub, social hub, with many important vendors. So we will get to it in proper time. But as for the darkness, this is something that evolves with time, because at the beginning there was only one enemy, the Oryx, the Taken King of the Hive, and then pyramids of darkness appeared in several places. Then there was a witness. This is quite complicated thing. You have to look into the lore more deeply. Right now, our main adversary is the witness, who uses darkness, and who we don't really know what does he want, but it's definitely nothing good. He aims for the final shape of everything. And the Traveler is our source of power, the source of life and light. Ghost, you can see it by pressing tab, it appears over your hand, and this is something spawned by the Traveler. Ghosts look for dead people and resurrect them as guardians, giving them special powers. And in this screen you can also see our current objective of your mission and scroll through other tracked objectives, also through the Bounties. This is quite useful. You don't have to go to the I can't even open the quest screen in the menu to check it, so it's quite useful. Also, you see this waypoint, the white square in front of me. It also appears in the radar on top left corner. It sometimes disappears. If you get lost, you don't know where to go, you should use tab and it appears again. So this is quite useful.
I need to get you back to the city. To do that, we'll need a ship. But first, I need to find you a weapon. Let's keep moving.
Ghosts have deep connection with their guardians. They resurrect them.
Careful. They're all around
They
us.
resurrected them in the first place by creating guardians, but also they resurrect them if we die
It's a
during
risk,
the
but
gameplay.
I'll get us more light. Hard military system, check. Frayed wires and rust, check. When I flip this switch, expect trouble. Not good. Definitely not happy to see us.
Okay.
There's a rifle. Grab it.
I brought you back for a reason,
Let's
Guardian.
shoot.
You're a warlock. Your curiosity's as dangerous as any weapon. So trust your instincts, and we'll find a way home.
Okay, first thing. When you hit the body, you see white number appear. This is your damage. And when you hit with the precision damage, mostly for humanoid creatures it will be head, it appears as yellow. This is crucial because sometimes enemies have a lot of life and you have to hit them with precision damage to have any chance of surviving. So for humanoids this is mostly head, but sometimes you have to look for glowy parts on machines, or sometimes they are uncovered after losing some of their health.
Speaking of pirates, there's a loot cache. Let's take what's inside.
Ghost said that the Fallen are pirates. To be precise, they lived on a planet named Reese, and they also had encountered Traveler, but when the darkness came, the Traveler fled. And the darkness destroyed their planet, they had to run, and they became space pirates. And right now there are two main factions of the Fallen. One of them is allied with us in person of Mitrax, and the second one, led by Aramis, is the bad one that we still have to fight. Aramis even tried to destroy Traveler in the previous season. I got a shotgun. Let's check. Oh, maybe our melee. I will show you it one by one, our skills, in a moment. This is Glimmer, this is our money. You want to take it? And here is our super ability. Supers are very strong abilities, specific for the class you're using and the subclass. That means the element you're using. For me right now it's Void, because you can tell that by this violet background of the skills at the bottom left of my screen. Okay. Sometimes enemies have shields. This had a blue one, and the shields, of course, you have to destroy them before you can hunt someone, but they have different colors depending on the subclass, the element of the shield. And using the same element on your weapon is useful to destroy the shield. Like my shotgun, you can look down left, is solar. It has this small orange fire, and it would be more useful for solar shields. Also, as for the skills, you have 3 squares at the bottom left and the loading super bar right now. The super is very specific for your class and subclass. It may be more offensive or defensive, so you have to try which one suits you best for which activity. And then the 3 squares, this is the grenade. There are different types of grenades. You can buy them later in tower from Ikora Ray, and they are basically the same for every class and subclass. Then you have the melee ability. Right now it's loaded, you can use it. It has some special effect which is different for each class, and right now it's used up, but you can still hit with your fist. When an enemy is close proximity, you can hit it. And third one is a class ability. For warlock it's a rift. This is a healing rift. On the left side you can see an effect, healing rift. And on the top there is my health bar, which fills with blue. It also gives me an overshield and my hands glow, as you see. And right now it disappears. So inside the rift I get extra overshield. And warlocks create rifts or area effects, enhancing their allies and themselves. Titans mostly create barriers. And hunters have dodge effects.
Keep pushing forward. I'll locate a ship we can use to fly home.
There is one extra option you can use while fighting someone. When you do damage to an enemy, and a yellow circle appears over his head, you can use something called finisher. You can then be sure that it kills this enemy definitely with one shot, so it's useful for tougher enemies. If they have this circle, you can use finisher. It's more effective. And there are some bounties that require you to use finishers, so I was quite confused and I thought this is just finishing the enemy like normal way, but this doesn't count, you have to use finishers. Here we have a walker. He's a more powerful enemy, as you can see. For powerful enemies sometimes there are tactics, like he's most vulnerable when you hit his legs, and then he uncovers this spot for precision damage. Fortunately there is someone more experienced who will kill it for us, actually. And when a powerful enemy is dead, it drops a chest with loot. It contains it contains cash and like glimmer and some stuff. Sometimes it's a weapon, sometimes some items. You can pick it up, collect loot.
Cass, Maeve, if you're hearing this, rendezvous with the following
400 glimmer on the right appeared.
I don't think he heard us, but I've got a lock on his location.
Also, we have some stuff we can collect on the maps. This is not very popular. There is always one type of item on each map. Here we have spin metal leaves. If you collect them... Oh. No! Leave me alone. If you collect them, they appear in your inventory. Yes. In your inventory, if you use I, it opens your character screen. Here are all your weapons and armor. You can change them at any time. Also your subclasses to switch. Here you can change your grenades, melees and so on. The aspects and fragments we'll cover later when we meet Ikora and buy some of them. And to the right with D you have inventory. It contains all your items you gathered. Sometimes they are keys to some chests, sometimes they give you better rewards at the end of a activity, sometimes they are needed to enhance your gear, sometimes they give you some special insight to see something in an area, and sometimes they are spin metal leaves which can be sold for glimmer. Okay. I hope everything is clear up till now. I told you about finishers, so we're good for now.
Thank the light. I didn't think we had other Guardians on patrol here. Listen, my fire team's missing. I need backup, and... Oh, you're fresh out of the grave, aren't you?
We heard your distress call. We're here to help.
Brave. I like it. Tall order for your first day, though. Doesn't help that I rushed the perimeter scans, and now... I need to locate my team before there's nothing left to find. Sit tight. I'll get you to the city soon enough.
I've made it this far. Let me help.
I get it. Nobody likes to be sidelined.
Guardians are stronger together. Isn't that right?
You sound like Commander Zavala. All right then. Load up. This is gonna get dicey. But do what I say, and we'll get through it.
We won't let you down.
Follow my signal.
Okay. Shohan is one of the Guardians. He is also our vendor in Cosmodrome. Vendors are NPCs who give us bounties. These are tasks to kill something in some manner or finish certain amount of patrols or public events, and they reward us with XP for our character, with reputation for this vendor, and sometimes something additional, bright dust, which is used to buy something in Bungie store. And Shohan is a guardian. He mentions Vanguard, which is Guardian's force to protect the last city and traveler. This is basically us, united under Commander Zavala, who resides in Tower. If you look at the map, at the destinations section, this is under M key, and there is a tower. This is our last city, and here we have many vendors. Here is Commander Zavala, who is the head of the Vanguard, but we will talk a little more about this later. We have also many other vendors, and we will meet them in when we proceed with this questline. And Guardians are mainly lightbearers like us, the ones with ghost and special powers, but also normal people.
Great for you. Grab it and head to my location.
Okay, we got another weapon. We have now 2 kinetic weapons. We can switch them if we want. There are different types of weapon. I will show you in collections. There are different types of kinetic, special and heavy weapons. We have auto rifles, scout, pulse, hand cannons, submachine guns, sidearms, bows, and many, many more. They of course have different functions, different manner of firing, like pulse rifles fire several shots in one pulling one trigger pull, and hand cannons of course have less ammo, but they are stronger. Shotguns are shotguns. Sniper rifles, I think you know them. We will take a look at them when we find something. And we can also check the power of this weapon, because this one has this huge number 1600 and this one 1668. This is the power of the weapon. The power of the weapons and your armor is summed up to get your final character's power. That shows you which activities you can take part in and how easy this will be for you, because there are some activities that require you. Let's take a look in destinations in Vanguard. This one recommends power 1600, so everyone, even new players, can take part in. And this means that higher is your power level, the more damage you will deal and the less damage you will take. But when you take a look at Nightfall, the recommended power is 1770. That means that you should have 1770. All Fireteam members must be at 1750 to play this activity, so this also has the lowest required power level to play. And as I said, this is just to show you more or less your power in the place you're in. Also, the power level is how to call it? The power level is raised by your Ascendant Scepter. This is an artifact you have each season, but we will cover this also later. It just adds up to your power, and I have extra 14 points at the beginning because I already had more power on my Ascendant Scepter. We changed to Hand Cannon and it raises my character's power, so let's use it. The difference is huge. 68 points is a lot, but because I have some high level gear in my vault, which is you have only one vault for all your characters, so it counts in to the loot you get, and I got 68 points above my current power level, but when you start you probably get something like 16, 15 or something like this, so you have to grind a lot to get better gear or do activities which are marked in Destinations tab with this yellow star. They reward you with, after you oh, it's invisible now. I have to start. No, here it is. You have, if you complete this task, complete war table bounties, you get better gear. Sorry for my English, it's not my native language. Here is a trick that is also very useful. If you use crouch, you can go under low obstacles, but if you sprint and then crouch, you slide, which prevents you from losing the momentum.
Something's causing interference. My scanner's shot. I might be doing this the old-fashioned way.
Analyze it. I've got a source for the interference. Let's check it out.
Okay, actually this is the point where you land when you enter Cosmodrome normally, and Shohan resides here. He is our vendor and you can talk to him at any time. But right now we are inside the mission, so this area which is accessible without any missions or anything, right now looks a little bit different.
Get the fallen
And
off that thing.
as we had this player who fought with the walker out there, now here no one appears. Normally there is a lot of people running around, but sometimes when you are on the mission, the area is, let's say, copied to an instance visible only to you and your teammates, so that no one interrupts you with your actions. And one of the reasons is the thing that show isn't present here, because if it was this normal instance, show should stand there,
antenna.
and our quest requires him to be somewhere else.
Stolen city tech has been spliced in here. That's scrambling your scans.
So when you finish this
Fallen
mission,
can't
you
resist
can
tinkering with old
wander
scrap.
around,
They're certainly skilled at it. This will take a minute to fix.
do some patrols to get some money and maybe gear, spin metal leaves sometimes or something. You can look for caves, I guess somewhere around here, and you can enter this house here. There are some underground passages you can explore. In many caves there are enemies and chests to find. You can shoot off enemies when they appear in their ship. Also, sometimes when you need to do bounties and there are no enemies on
Parachute signals are
the
missing and last
anywhere
locations are
around, you
nowhere near
can
each
take
other.
a look where
Wouldn't
the
split up unless
ships
it got real
appear,
bad.
because they will be
I'll track Cass.
dropping
Find Maeve.
more
Sending coordinates
enemies
now.
for you to kill. What? Okay, let's go. Also, jumping here is very difficult. Like, each class has different jumping skills. Hunters jump like hop and hop. You can have triple jump, hop, hop, hop. But hunters and titans have warlocks and titans have glide, which is for me very unintuitive, because especially when there is a fight and I have to cover quickly and just try to jump off from the enemy fire, and the gravity doesn't pull me down and I just float up above enemies and they shoot me. This is very confusing and I really can't get used to
Myths
it.
say the Fallen once lived in the Traveler's Grace.
Okay.
But something happened. The Traveler left them, and that brought ruin to their civilization. They've come all this way chasing what they lost, hoping to get it back. Or take it from us.
Ghost is right. This is what I already told you, that Traveler left them, the Reese was destroyed, their planet Reese was destroyed, and Aramis wants revenge on Traveler and tried to destroy him. Fortunately, it didn't work out. The Traveler is still more or less alive. I just run through all this area because we're gonna go back, I think, and collect something from the enemies. So not waste too much time because this video is going to be long anyway.
Looks like the Fallen want
We'll
to keep
just
us
go.
out.
Or keep something in. There's worse than dregs in old Russia.
Let's check out the control unit.
They say that there is worse than dregs
This is locked down
in
with
old
adaptive
Russia.
encryption. We'll need access keys to bypass it.
Actually, there are
The Fallen
different types
salvagers
of
might have
enemies. There are different types of enemies. There is Fallen, there is Hive, there are Cabo, Vex machines, and they all have their own specifics when it comes to their movement and reactions and just the places they inhabit. And oh, you're still alive. And what did I say? And this is actually not that huge difference if you're fighting typical Dreg or Vandal, or you're fighting a Thrall from Hive, which is like the lowest level of Hive. This doesn't make huge difference. Just Dregs shoot to you and Thralls only run and try to attack you by fist, by claws. Servitor is covering his allies, so it's good to shoot Servitors first. Tracer Shanks are like snipers, more damaging than normal Shanks.
That's one key.
There is also
We
one
need two more.
more type of Shank, Exploder, and I think you know what it's gonna do. I advise you not to hit it with your hand, with your melee. Especially when there are several Exploder Shanks next to each other. Ah, and we got another weapon. We have the purple one now, heavy ammo, and this is a rocket launcher, so... In general, the heavy ammo are rocket launchers or heavy grenades. And I think we will cover that in next video, because this is a lot of talking about weapons and their traits. But different weapons have different traits, that means they behave differently. Like this rocket launcher, you could see that it exploded and dropped another exploding parts around, the collateral damage. Sometimes they have tracer rockets, sometimes there are traits that are random traits, but okay, if I can tell you that while walking, this will be good for now, this information right now, because there are different tiers of weapons. In Destiny 1 that made sense, because there were like the normal, rare, I don't know, legendary and so on. And it made sense because you collected all of them. Right now, I will show you in a second. Right now, when you look to collections and to weapons, there are only two like normal rifles, several uncommon, then few rare, and the rest is legendary. And you mostly get legendary weapons when you play. There are also exotics, which are very special weapons, and they have very different mechanics connected to them. And they require doing additional quest lines to find them, then upgrade them, and this is quite challenging. And as for weapons, when you have this rare, uncommon or something, they have traits which are set. Sometimes you can change the trait, sometimes there are only one, and they modify the mechanics of this weapon. If this fires, if you hold E, you can show details. If it increases your moving speed while aiming down or something else. And this you can reacquire from the collections because it's also the same, but the legendary ones are randomized. That means that even if you found it before, you can't get it from collections because these two traits can be different depending on your RNG. This may be a threat detector, the elemental capacitor, or something else like a hipfire grip, envious assassin, or something else. And that means there is a lot of combinations you can get. And that means that sometimes you have to work a lot to get a weapon you like with traits that suit your fight style, your play style. And this is really time consuming, and real pros really spend days farming certain weapon with certain traits. Sometimes you have to carry 2 or 3 of them and switch between them because they have different elements, which is used for enemies with shields. Or sometimes you just want to have a rocket launcher with collateral damage, bigger blast radius, or sometimes you want it to be tracking missile. When enemy moves, you can still hit it.
Shaw, you were right about this barrier. The Fallen were keeping the Hive at bay.
The Maeve is in more trouble than I thought. You need to hurry.
Okay, the Hive. This is another type of enemies. The Hive were, for a long time, they were seen as the worst enemy, the darkness servants, and this changed a lot. This changed a lot in Witch Queen campaign because it was focused around Savathun, one of 3 Hive leaders.
Even transmats won't get through right now.
One of 3 Hive leaders, Savathun, was main topic of the Witch Queen campaign, and it introduced a lot of Hive lore, so we got to know their beginnings better, and this changed our view on Hive a lot. You could see the exploding Thrall. This is something that will probably kill you a lot of times, not only when they come from behind your back and kill you by exploding, but also when you try to kill them by hand and explode with them. Here was a sign that respawning is restricted. That means normally if you die, your ghost will respawn you at the same place after 5 seconds, but when respawning is restricted, these are fights that are you have to do them flawless. Like if I die now, I will be respawned at the very beginning and have to fight all of them again. And if you play with others, you have someone in your fire team, they can revive you in these places, but this is the only way of revival when respawning is restricted. And sometimes when you play like on Lost Sector on Legend difficulty or something like this, there is also a limit of respawnings you can get. Okay.
There may still be light left in her ghost.
So there are different types of difficulty in fights, including the fact that you can't respawn sometimes. And with the light in her ghost, this is very bad because if your ghost can resurrect you, and while it get your ghost can resurrect you, and if it gets destroyed, it can't resurrect you no more. So if you die after this, you will die definitely. And there are some characters in game who lost their ghost and now are normal mortal people. Of course, it can happen to us, but it's important in
Shaw,
general
I'm
lore
sorry.
that you can
We were
lose
too late.
your ghost and
I
die.
was too.
Definitely.
Cass, I couldn't get to him in time.
There was a Hive wizard, a powerful one. We tried.
This isn't on you. You did what you could.
We have the remains of her ghost.
She'd appreciate that. You should just head to camp before that wizard comes back.
And now we finished the mission. We have timer on the left side. Sometimes after dungeons or raids you have long time, so you can explore, find some hidden chests or something. If you play with others in both PvP or PvE, you can command your allies or enemies at this time. Sometimes you can skip it by going to tab and holding O. You will return to orbit, which is interesting. I don't know if I could do this now because we haven't got any ship yet, but I think that it could be possible to go back to orbit without having ship. You will already have it. Okay, now we can fast travel. Not here. On the map, when you press M, there are spaces like this, points like this, landing zones. Here are two, one here, and another one here. You can hold and teleport to them. You can also do this to go to other areas in the world. And I think it's already possible for us. Like when we go to map, destinations, we could teleport to tower. Yes, there is a landing zone here and another one here. And let's check if we have our ship. If you go to your character screen and down, we don't have vehicle or ship, so that would be bizarre, but I think it's possible. Anyway, let's talk to Sean and finish this quest.
Even the light has limits. Sometimes you don't come back. That hive you saw was a powerful wizard named Navota. Didn't expect to run into something that strong, and I wasn't prepared. Now it's too late. Maeve and Cass knew the risks. Best way to honor them is to finish the job. There's a Golden Age relic, a superconductor, in a sealed chamber nearby. Vanguard says we can make a weapon out of it. Problem is, the superconductor is overflowing with arc energy. Can't even get near the place, much less break the lock. We need to find a solution, and something tells me our fallen neighbors know a thing or two about the infrastructure here. These were my Fireteams assignments. They're yours now. Go shake the tree, we'll see what falls out.
Fireteam is your team. You can have 3, 4 or 6 people in Fireteam depending on the activity. Here is this summary of what he said. We can get a rifle, and here is also summary. Okay. Vendors give us bounties. These are daily activities you can perform. They require you to kill something or in some manner or with some type of damage. They are new bounties each day. You have 1 day and 3 hours to finish them. There is also always one extra bounty, repeatable, which gives you random objective. You can acquire 5 of them at a moment, but after finishing them you can reacquire another, and you can do this infinite times. These are only once a day to finish. Also, some vendors give us additional quests. This one comes from Lightfall. I will take it. I won't do it right now, but maybe it will do it itself. There is more powerful. Defeat foes of Traveler. So when I defeat enemies during our normal mission, it will also count towards this quest. Sometimes vendors have gear to sell or some additional menus, so that depends on a person. And sometimes they have also rank points when you talk to them.
Here to
You
help.
have your rank level above, and you can get engrams which contain armor or weapons. Okay, we got several new tasks, but I think
Seeing
that's
movement in the
enough for
barnyards.
one
Watch for fallen.
video. It's already very long. I hope I won't have to cut it into pieces. Oh, I hope I won't have to cut it into pieces, but that is enough for one video. I hope you enjoyed it. There is also a lot to cover still. I will definitely make a video about every tab in our both menus, so you can know where to find which things, because that was also very confusing for me at the beginning. So thank you for watching. See you around. Hope you're having a great day today. See you.